Hello, my name is Mark Ferrullo, and I'm the Executive Director of Progress Florida. I first started with the Public Interest Network as a student activist at the University of South Florida, working with Florida PIRG. And today, I'm here to talk to you about social media. Social media refers to the use of web-based and mobile technologies to turn communication into an interactive dialogue. It's this interactive nature of social media that distinguishes it from other sorts of media. Having a robust social media presence is extremely important and will greatly enhance the support of your members, deepen that support among your members, greatly enhance your visibility, and most importantly, it'll enhance the effectiveness and impact of your campaigns. Now, there are numerous platforms for social media, including Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Google+, LinkedIn, Dig, Reddit, and more and more and more. In our universe as organizers and advocates, the two most important social media platforms are Facebook and Twitter. These two are by far the largest and most effective social media vehicles for forwarding our organizational goals. If Facebook were a nation, it would be the third largest nation on the planet. And as for Twitter, over 10,000 people join Twitter every single day. It's absolutely critical that we are engaged in this still emerging platform for creating social change. YouTube is also very important, but its real value is as a source of content and a place to host your own video-based content that you will then use to build your Twitter and Facebook followings. Generally speaking, Facebook is the most effective social platform for getting people to actually take action, to do things. Facebook is much more effective than Twitter and many other forms of social media at getting people to turn out to events, to sign petitions, to make phone calls, and things of that nature. On the other hand, Twitter's strength is less in that category and more in the category of engaging directly with the media and engaging directly with VIPs and policymakers. That's the real strength of Twitter. Now, both work in tandem, and effectively organizing on both of those platforms will amplify the effectiveness of the others. Now, chances are that your organization already has a Twitter or Facebook page, and if you don't, there's many places on the web where you can find out how to quickly create an effective, good-looking Facebook or Twitter account. But what I want to do right now is share 3 key principles when it comes to being effective with social media, specifically Facebook and Twitter. The first and by far most important key principle when working in social media is to recognize that it's a two-way communication. You have to engage your followers in a conversation. Respond to replies, ask questions, solicit feedbacks, take part in the comments, moderating the comments, and participating in the comments on your Facebook page and on your Twitter feeds. The key thing is to be talking with your followers, not just at them. If you're simply going to push out one-way messaging, there's plenty of traditional media channels for that, or you might want to start a blog. But if you want to do effective social media, you have to make it a two-way communication. Put the social in social media. The second key principle is to have compelling and diversity of content. If all you're posting on Twitter or Facebook are links to news articles that you find interesting, that gets boring. If all you post to Twitter and Facebook are your action alerts, that gets boring. If all you post to Twitter and Facebook are pictures of your staff in action, that gets boring. The worst possible thing you can be in the social media universe is boring. Diversity of content is key. All those things I just mentioned are perfectly fine and are the types of things that you should be using as content, but you need to mix it up. Use photos, videos, links, cartoons, behind the scenes insights, favorite quotes, promotion of other groups and other individuals who are part of your followers. That's how you get compelling content and diversity, and that's how you grow your network. The third key principle is that frequency matters. If you're posting too often, people will turn you off. They'll hide you in their news feed. They'll unfollow you on Twitter. If you're posting too infrequent, you're not going to grow your following. It's as easy as that. We generally suggest for Facebook 1 to 2 posts per day. Rarely more than 2 posts. 1 post per day is just about right. For Twitter, you have a lot more latitude. For Twitter, at Progress Florida, we generally are tweeting between 10 and 22 tweets per day, mixing up a lot of different types of content. So that's frequency matters. So just to recap the key principles, the 3 key principles: social media has to be a two-way communication. You have to have compelling and diversity of content. And third, frequency matters. It can't just be an afterthought anymore. It's too important of a platform for building power for your organization for social media to just be an afterthought. You really need to put time and effort and planning around doing it the right way. Let's next talk about some of the key pitfalls you might want to avoid. The first one is one that I don't think is a real big problem in our network, but I definitely see this in other progressive circles. And that is, don't be a drag. Don't be a Debbie Downer. Yes, there's a lot of bad things happening in the world, a lot of bad things happening in our own country, but if that's all you're tweeting about and that's all you're putting on Facebook, you're doing yourself a real disservice. The stuff that is the most popular, that gets the most shares and retweets and likes, is often the positive stuff, the humorous stuff, the entertaining stuff. You obviously want to make it relevant to the work that your group's doing, and you clearly need to do some serious, provide serious content as well, but just don't be a drag. The second pitfall is not using judgment. If you're in doubt about posting something or tweeting something, don't do it. You can delete it later, but like everything on the internet, it lives forever. So use good judgment, and when in doubt, don't do it. The third pitfall to avoid is posting at the same time and the same days. If you're always posting at the same time and on the same days, you're missing a huge segment of your potential following and your current following. So mix it up. Mix up the times, mix up the days. People's online habits are very different. And if you want to reach the most people, you need to be mixing up the times and the days that you're providing content. A Facebook-specific pitfall to avoid is being too texty. Pictures go a long way. Visuals go a long way. Social media, especially Facebook, is a very visual medium. So use videos, use pictures, use cartoons, and you'll just have much more success. We have a rule at Progress Florida where we don't put anything on Facebook that does not have some visual element to go with it. A Twitter-specific pitfall to avoid is being selfish. Twitter is all about community. It's all about people retweeting each other and people recommending other people to follow and things like that. And if you're just seen as a group that just puts things out but never actually helps other people push out their messages or recommend them to be followed, then you're not going to meet your potential at all when it comes to Twitter. So let me just wrap things up here now. Let me just say social media is a lot like gardening. The real work begins after you've planted the seeds. But if you put the time and effort into it, you will bear a lot of fruit for that labor. So now get ready for the simulation, and may your social media prowess help propel your team to victory. Thank you very much.